Yeah, I'm sorry for this technicalities and problems. I'm going to report with Reigo Lehtla, Estonian state of art, and we are also providing some key indicators on this high dynamism, which is in the renewables in Estonia. First of all, as a small nation and quite service-oriented, the key issue in the renewables deployment is that we have quite few energy-intensive industries, which means that there are few or even missing long-term renewable energy purchase agreements, and it means that the demand side is quite uncertain, and we are also quite Icelandic in terms of electricity markets still tied to Russian electricity system. We are going to switch to European next February as well. We are trying to improve our isolated electricity market here using and developing connections with Finland, Latvia, and in future as well probably with Sweden and Germany. Second storyline is related to financial risks and viability and all those macroeconomic and microeconomic factors as described very clearly by Araceli in Spanish and Galician case are more or less valid as well in the Estonian electricity market while deploying more and more renewables. As already I mentioned, switching to the service industries and in the industrialized economy, it's quite or multiple small players, and you can't really focus future demand as well. Banking and credit institutions are quite sensitive after energy crisis. Then third point, as historically our electricity system having all those Soviet big industry features remains quite monopolistic and centralized, and also more recent renewable installations are tending to be still rather big, and it also relates to revenues and income as well. What applies to renewables, wind energy and solar energy, also utilization factor in our Nordic climate is not stable, and it's rather small in case of wind farms. 0.28 is utilization factor, and in case of solar farms 0.11 data from 2021. Of course, there are improvements as engineering and technologies are more advanced as well. Developers and all this sector is more advanced recent years. But still, electricity prices and all aftermath of energy crisis has played a huge role on this uncertainty in the market as well. Even if developers are trying to do their best, there are several other players, banking institutions, supply chain, which is very sensitive, and in all cases, this small nation factor plays quite a substantial critical role. Luckily, we can say that NIMBY and red tape has declined, and there is much stronger acceptance by also rural population, and also we managed to speed up processing renewable permits and territorial plans in our municipalities as well. Approval from other governmental institutions is received faster. There are less and less restrictions which might delay the processing of renewables. I think Reigo is going to summarize inputs and contributions from pilot municipalities. Reigo, floor is yours.
Thank you, Antti. Indeed, I have kind of distilled our knowledge and experience of those visits to the pilot municipalities into the kind of SWOT analysis, which I'm going to roll over quickly. So SWOT starts with strengths. So what I would say, what are the strengths of the development and deployment of photovoltaic energy in Estonia? It's of course, it's the persistent and progressing growth of photovoltaic energy. It will grow even without any incentives. There will be more and more prosumers every year. Will there be incentives and state subsidies or not? Because primarily it's driven by the consistently decreasing cost of technology. Those PV panels are already ridiculously cheap and getting even cheaper. So that's not the problem anymore to have those PV panels on the roofs or anywhere else. There are new deployment methods for PV panels, as using them as fences or whatever. Also, Estonia's political framework is quite firmly committed to the achieving the climate targets, climate neutrality, and we have taken the target to source all our energy from renewable sources. So let's go further. Can I switch myself? No, I think Antti, you have to help me. Yeah. So about the weaknesses. Certainly the weakness in Estonia is that the grid is already full. The grid is weak and it needs substantial investments to strengthen the grid. So consequently, it's not so easy to connect new photovoltaic parks into the grid. So it's going to be prohibitively expensive. Some cases, the grid enterprise may ask connection fee, which will be in millions of euros, which is of course not feasible. Yeah, and another thing is that this increasing share of renewables has caused high volatility of supply and just also the prices of energy. So what we see commonly now, summertime in Estonia, it's if we we take a look to the prices of energy, electric energy, it's like the Bactrian with two hunches. There will be a high peak in the morning, then there will be zero price on the daytime or even negative price, and another peak will be in the evening, and then on the night time it's so and so. So that's of course reduces the that reduces the incentive to create new PV parks. So the opportunities, what we see, certainly the opportunity in Estonia, this is the housing associations, because they are already associations. They are legal entities, they have rules. So they could have those photovoltaic parks installed on their roofs, of course, and that will be the robust and nice way to establish new energy communities in Estonia. Another term which I will coin here is that geothermal energy. It's kind of new solar, because I see it's like the geothermal energy is like solar energy was 10 or 15 years ago. It's still expensive, it's still rare, but new technologies are emerging, and we can see that they are getting cheaper quickly. So that's especially important for us here in northern latitudes. Here we need energy year around, and even more we need the winter time when there is no solar, and people are paying huge money for central heating here in winter time. That causes energy poverty, and that's another term which should be addressed. And as a matter of fact, I see here opportunity for the next pilot project, the deployment of geothermal energy in the district heating. Another way to create energy in winter time and northern latitudes, it's bioenergy. Our project is very much photovoltaic centered, and it's almost non-existent here since late October until early or by the end of February. So we need to heat somehow our houses in winter time. And another opportunity is that some wealthier municipalities, they have spelled out that they are ready to provide grants for those emerging energy communities in their territory, if there are some people who are eager to create them. So, and let's take the next slide about the threats. As I said, this negative pricing daytime, it's very much hindering the people's wish to install photovoltaic. So that means that they must think about the battery technologies, about how to save energy and use it later. And but those battery technologies, they are still expensive, and that's kind of a negative side of our project, that we are not offering any financing opportunity, so we don't show where the money is. We should do it, and that will inspire people and raise more interest. That's my impression. So I roll it quickly over. What are the main impressions, and Antti will show now the graphs on what those assumptions and conclusions are based on.
Thank you very much, Reigo. I'm not going to list those really concise conclusions from our field work as well, desktop research, and switch to the national scale again, and I'm going to confirm that in the draft national energy plan, community energy is in the prominent position. And it says, and it underlines and confirms that operators are obliged to cooperate with renewable energy communities, but it also says that energy communities don't have any priority rights. So all this is still quite ideological and rhetorical. On the other hand, the key task, which is boldly stated at national level, that we should continue developing models of energy communities, and as already described by Reigo, and there are some similarities with Spanish case. We have to address those remaining legal, technical, and financial market-related issues. The tasks in relation to community energy enhancement is shared between 4 stakeholder groups, and the first listed here is Stakeholders Roundtable of Community Energy, which is very successfully chaired by TREA, and last roundtable was in May, just a month ago. And this roundtable format works very well to seek those joint up solutions among those stakeholder groups listed below: ministries, local authorities, operators, civil society is missing, but of course participants from local as well urban communities are involved in our discussions. Mainly this roundtable should focus on transfer of know-how, the most advanced technologies as well solutions in terms of deployment and implementation in practice, providing targeted training, practice-oriented training, as well raising awareness among people. Ministries, as usual, should contribute in more specific community energy paragraphs in energy market regulations, providing specialized support, granting instruments, as well keeping all these ethos quite high. Local authorities, on the other hand, channeling their initiatives through local energy and climate plans. They are providing advisory services. Quite many of those informal support is based on just paperwork or those permits local authorities are in charge. As well, it's very much, or not very much, but partly related to prevention of energy poverty, related to all this general conditions in relation to energy supply or social support for benefits. There are many solar roofing and other programs, and also this project. There are several other community energy pilot projects granted by multiple EU programs. Operators should advance as fast as they can over this smart network, as we are promised shared generation and distribution, which is still on a very pilot phase, as well as those pricing models are not really feasible for community energy. Switching to statistics, you can see here this very dramatic increase, fivefold, tenfold, even in our pilot municipalities. And even during last 2 years, 22-23, you can very clearly see this more or less exponential growth in Elva, in Lääne-Harju, in Saku, in Türi municipalities, and some other more agricultural or timber industry based municipalities like Järva and Türi. They are just trying to keep this pace in relation to prosumers and smaller players in the marketplace. As well, I show you 2 maps in Põltsamaa and Rõuge municipality, and here you can see only bigger land-based solar parks, and it shows you very clearly that still it's quite centralized in terms of spatial utilization. We don't have this problem you have in Galicia in Spain, that land is too fragmented. Of course, our land is fragmented as well, but luckily or unluckily, we had collective farming for 50 and more years, which means that we have, particularly in rural areas, bigger plots available. This graph shows you the share of prosumers, colored orange on the top, and this dark blue are commercial producers, generators, and here also it's very clear that in those municipalities in Põltsamaa or Tori, where are bigger generators, the share of small presuming contributors to the renewable energy and the clean energy is proportionally smaller. If we look at total installed capacity by prosumers, the difference across our pilot municipalities is not huge. The smallest in Alutaguse, which is very wooden and wildlife by territory, and it's most advanced in Lääne-Harju, Tori and Saku, which are more or less suburban municipalities, and this is quite logic. If we look more or less same picture, prosumers per 1,000 inhabitants, again we can draw three conclusions from this graph that the growth is stronger in suburban areas where people have more money to invest. There are more new dwellings and single-family houses as well. It's very clear that in Rõuge and Hiiumaa case, there are quite many second home owners who would like to have solar electricity for their beautiful summer vacation, and it's also quite trendy. Accounting prosumer numbers, the growth is, as already mentioned, very quick during last 2-3 years, as we had this solar boom in Estonia, and in particular it's very clear in Saku near Tallinn, as well in Lääne-Harju, also in bigger Tallinn area. But in general, we can also confirm that in Rõuge and in Põltsamaa, as well in Alutaguse, despite all this rural marginalization and probably some higher share of people poverty in risk or risk on poverty, we can still say that this development is favorable, and we can continue our project as well. All these community initiatives on renewable frontline, as well in those remote rural municipalities. To conclude our presentation from Estonian side by myself and Reigo Lehtla, we are really looking for more advanced local diagnostics on clean energy transition. We should understand, and local political leaders as well, officials who are struggling with all this paperwork and booming solar as well, wind energy, how to handle it, and we have to have much better disaggregated data and data models besides those Eurostat centralized key performance indicators. We have been discussing here with Neeme and Nele and other colleagues in Estonian partnership how we can apply stronger and more concise objectives and indicators in the local strategies, and how local authorities can direct the processes and the general renewable transition better. And also, which is also quite not really academic stream in this project, but in general, we still can't understand very clearly the strengths and capacities of local communities where we have more active people, how those agencies could be channeled across all those transformations. And to conclude from Estonian side, there is a very strong prosumer growth in Estonia, in both in suburban areas as well in remote. We have to admit that there are grid connection limits, as Reigo described, and also in some areas, business and bigger producers occupy all the grid, and all what remains available for clean energy transition is nano generation, but as you may assume, this is not profitable, and you can just play with those some few roof panels. We have to pay more attention on the economics of renewables as return on investment and profitability has been declining. As well, there is investment gap, particularly in rural areas. And also, we are looking forward to have really smart grid automated energy management with storage and hybrid solutions, which is financially, economically, as well socially feasible. Thank you very much. This was Estonian state of art on community energy. Floor is yours, Xavier. Back to you.
Thank you. Thank you, Antti and Reigo. I consider that you and Araceli should take the floor and manage the debate.
Yeah, I'm going to ask first of all your Galician and Spanish trends in relation to social barriers. As I stated from Estonian side, we have less social opposition, and we had much more supportive attitudes in rural communities towards renewables. Do you have something similar in Spain and Galicia, Araceli and other Spanish colleagues? It's our question from Estonian side.
I can say from what I read and from the data that the main concern or the main barrier is the impact related with the environment, and because of not with the plants that we are planning because of the dimension and the locations, but with bigger plants. So that's the main barrier. But I think it would be interesting also for me to listen to the people that has been directly in contact with the workshops, etc., what they have listened so far.
Okay, I can make a resume of that. For me, it was very interesting, both presentations, above all the Estonian presentation, and above all the data that you have showed to us related to the number of prosumers. It's huge that we can see many prosumers in the rural municipalities that are included in our project, and we don't find this amount of prosumers in the Spanish municipalities. The doubt that that keeps in my mind is that if this amount of prosumers are individual or collective prosumers. This is a clear element. But this is for